Traditional signing day in the books. Nebraska with 39 new faces. Sean, let's first talk about your overall impressions of this class, which is a top 30 class consensus-wise, right?
Yeah, you look at it right now, consensus on 3, top 30, fifth in the Big Ten. And, there's kind of a real separating line when you break down these classes. Obviously, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, 1, 2, 3. Michigan State had a really nice year at 4, but then Nebraska is kind of locked in there as the solid number 5, and I'd say it drops off quite a bit as you get to 6, 7, and 8 in terms of the consensus ranking, which is all 4 major services equally rated together into one score. So, yeah, very solid year for Nebraska. 39 new additions. 28, though, Andy, were what we would call traditional recruits. You had 27 high school players, 1 from the junior college ranks.
And this is obviously traditional signing days, though most of the legwork was done, the heavy lifting done by December. What really stands out, though, about this class? Matt Rhule was talking speed and size.
Yeah, you just look at it, the speed is the biggest thing. Almost all of these guys have some sort of track number on their profile, whether it's the 100-meter dash, triple jump, long jump, shot put, discus. All of them have elite numbers in some of these categories. And, even though the last one they took, DeAndre Barnes out of Colorado, he was a 21.49 and a 10.6 guy in the 100. So all the way until the very, very end, every one of these guys brought some sort of track measurable. And a lot of these guys will do track at Nebraska too, which I find interesting that we could see, upwards of 5, 6, 7, 8 football players on the track team.
Yeah, Barnes was one of the late additions to the class, but it actually kind of exemplifies what this staff is all about because it was a result of some of those high school visits, which this staff has made such a priority, and Matt Rhule talked about that at length on Wednesday.
Yeah, how about that too? A lot of people want to give them praise for going into 8 schools, this and that. He goes, look, we're doing our job. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how it should be done. That is the bare minimum. And I did find that a little refreshing. Like, he didn't want a big parade for, how hard you worked. He's like, no, we're doing our job. We're paid to coach a football team and do our job here at Nebraska, and I thought that was interesting.
And he did mention, he's like, these people in Nebraska work way harder than we do. We're just doing what we're supposed to be doing. I thought that was interesting. I also thought it was interesting that Matt Rhule's still getting acclimated to his surroundings, even going so far as mandating that his players, when introducing them or when talking to them, make sure that they reintroduce themselves because, there's only one of Matt Rhule, and he's got a roster of more than 100 kids.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And you walk in, and these coaches had hardly been here for the last few months. Things picked up this week. The coaches could start going to those workouts and watching them because they're off the road recruiting. This is week 3 of winter workouts. Mm-hmm. Mat drills begin now too. That is kind of the point where you're really testing your team, pushing your team. So we're going to learn a lot about kind of what's going on behind the curtain when they turn up things during winter conditioning as the, quote, mat drills start for the football program.
And you asked him, is it exhale time? He said, no, we don't exhale here,
like,
right?
What?
Yeah. What does that mean? I thought that was telling.
No, and I think that's what he's going to bring to the table. There aren't going to be long vacations for Matt Rhule. He's dialed into the job here and knows the job at hand. And I think him and his staff going out around the state, they really did pick up how important this is to everybody. And I think when you live here and see it like we do, you understand, like, Nebraska football, people literally think about it every day of the week, all hours of the day. And I think now, as they've been on this job, they understand why this is a big job and why people really get behind this program.
Yeah, I remember Barry Alvarez telling me before I moved to Nebraska, he said, Andy, it's 365 every day of the year.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Hey, okay, so what's next? Dead period, that's upcoming? And then what's next for the Huskers?
So dead period is going on right now, and then starting in March, you can start having visitors again on campus. Now, coaches can't leave campus again for recruiting until April and May, so that's the next period for them to leave campus. But right now, the focus is Nebraska. Nebraska's coaches watching and learning about their team during winter workouts. They're allowed to watch those workouts, be around the players, and get a better feel for things. So that's really, I think, what the next 6 weeks are going to be like, and then they'll go on spring break here at Nebraska before they probably come back and start spring practice.
And then spring practice begins. It all leads up to the spring game. That's April the 22nd.